Here's Gilgeous-Alexander. McCollum staying with him. Spins, gets inside. Left-handed off the glass. Oh, what a sweet move.
Giddy, tough spot. Backdoor. What a pass. What a play. And J-Dub picks the pocket of Trae Young. He'll take it himself.
This is Lou Dort. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast special post-game edition. We don't do post-games on the day before. We do big group podcasts on Sunday and Wednesday. But damn it, Taylor, we got to make an exception because the Thunder on the second night in San Francisco go in and beat the Golden State Warriors 130-123 in overtime. Before we dive in, we are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. My boy TP is with me. Taylor, what's up? What a night. If you don't already, you got to sub to the YouTube channel. This place is going insane right now. The chat is absolutely wild. Make sure you sub to the podcast, wherever you get your pods from. Drop us a 5-star rating. Leave a nice little review. Follow us on social media at @_uncontested. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We're everywhere, so go follow us.
Just like the Thunder's defense, everywhere.
What a game, Taylor. The Thunder going to half down 10. Halfway through the third quarter, they are down 18. Thought they were dead in the water. You had even sent a private message to me and was like, hey, it's a rough one. Regroup, go get the next one tomorrow night in Portland.
1 and 2 sounds great. Second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah, one and one in Golden State sounds great. I had tweeted out, like, I didn't want to see them lay down. Like, that's not the type of habits you want to build. I was like, just keep chipping away, do what you can. They chipped away fast.
Real fast.
And then it was just a show in the fourth quarter. I got real sad because Chet had 2 bad offensive plays in a row. One passes up the open 3 to Isaiah Joe. The right basketball play, just
The
not
leads
enough
to
time on the shot clock.
Right.
The next one just smokes the open layup off a
After
great pass by Dub.
Sorry. I was about to say, yeah, sorry. Great pass by Dub. Chet smokes a layup. I'm just like, man.
And then Andrew Wiggins hits the 3. And I was just thinking, what a rough night for Chet Holmgren to have this night, his first 30-point game, end in this fashion. Taylor, the final 1.5 seconds, that wasn't a busted slob play, sideline out of bounds, where they just scrambled. When you watch the replay, it is designed to have Isaiah Joe run up and around the top and pull the defense out. Shai sets a down screen to get Chet Holmgren open. Chris Paul switches, or no, it wasn't Chris Paul. Maybe it was Andrew Wiggins switches onto him. Chet's got 6 inches on him. And Taylor, you and I have talked about this. I said we can't make the comparison. Chet catches facing away from the basket, turns into the 3, pulls it up, and I have watched that shot a million times in this lifetime.
In a Thunder jersey.
Just a different number.
What would
that be?
Same number in Brooklyn.
20. Yeah, same number in Brooklyn. 28 numbers higher in Oklahoma City. I've never seen something look so Kevin Durant-esque as that turnaround jumper did. Absolute money. Just slashed
absurd. The yell that I yelled in my
wife was
room.
asleep on the couch. She's pissed.
I am pretty sure that there will be comments in the neighborhood Facebook about me tonight. But I do not apologize one bit. Thankfully, my next door neighbor is a huge Thunder fan. And we were texting a little bit, so I'll probably be forgiven. But my gosh, Jacob, to your point, when Chet hit that shot, I mean, what a perfect exclamation point on an incredible night for Chet Holmgren. I mean, this was, we always talk so much, and mainly because Prestes mentioned the arrival of this OKC Thunder team. We don't want it to be an appearance. We want to make it an arrival. And I understand he was referring to the playoffs, breaking through that, whatever you want to call it, that ceiling. But man, damn if this doesn't feel like an arrival, not only for the Thunder, but also for Chet Holmgren.
Insane, Taylor. Insane. Can I just read Chet's stat line to you?
Yes, please.
He played 36 minutes, third most minutes on the team behind J-Dub and Shai. He had 36 points on 14 of 22 field goals.
Goodness.
5 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block. Ended up a +7 on the night.
4 turnovers, but those are irrelevant. We don't count those tonight.
Man. Just holy shit, Taylor.
I mean,
we gotta
stuff.
We got to rewind a little bit. The Thunder were down 18. And it was a combination of Chet, Dub, and Shai who closed the gap. And at the start of the fourth quarter, Taylor, I think we saw 2 stars being born tonight. Because at the start of that fourth quarter, to keep Oklahoma City within striking distance, to close the gap, J-Dub was absolutely phenomenal. It wasn't just getting hot from 3. It wasn't just like he's on a heater and he's unconscious. Explicitly getting to his spots on the floor, getting the exact shot he wanted, and burying it.
Jacob, obviously these 2 players aren't identical by any means, which makes them such a good 1-2 punch. But Shai sits and J-Dub immediately takes over the Shai role, getting to his spots, to your point, whenever he wanted, whether it was the mid-range, fadeaway shots on the baseline, getting to the rim at will. He filled the Shai role there in that fourth quarter. And it was just, I think Dub's game could get overshadowed by the 40 piece that Shai dropped and the superstar emergence of Chet Holmgren tonight. But man, the Thunder's big 3 collectively had just a phenomenal game. And that big 3 includes J-Dub as much as it does the other 2. I agree. That fourth quarter, I keep talking about emergences, but that probably was J-Dub's right there. That was just fantastic. Cannot be stopped.
Dub had 22 points on 50% shooting, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. I thought he was just absolutely phenomenal, making the right plays. And just some of the shots, I got to hand it to myself. I had a pretty good tweet tonight. You knew I'd been cooking on that for a while. I'd been waiting for it. And after J-Dub drove in and just bumped off Jonathan Kuminga, sent him like 3 feet backwards and hit the pull up on him, I knew I had to pull the trigger. Just absolutely knew I had to pull the trigger on that tweet. I'm not going to read it on the podcast, but if you want to know the tweet, you can go to my Twitter page and
I think I missed that amongst all of the just absolute wild. Yeah. So I will go back and look at that as well, because I'm very excited.
It's
Jacob, I know we're jumping all over the place.
I was in my bag.
Just like Dub, just like Chet, just like Shai. Hey, speaking of that, again, like this podcast, we aren't reading off stats. Boring. You guys are here to just ride the vibes like we are.
We're just vibing, man.
We're vibing. And to that point, Jacob, speaking of vibes, it wasn't just the rookie Chet Holmgren. It was yet again Cason Wallace with a sprained shoulder, who played a majority of the minutes. And just extreme major props to Dignall. Cannot say this enough. He closes the majority of that game in the fourth quarter and until overtime with Isaiah Joe and with Cason Wallace instead of Giddey and instead of Dort, who were not playing well. Obviously, Dort brings his defense like he always does, but he was really struggling on both ends of the floor tonight compared to 2 nights ago when Dort had a really good game. I just thought that was a phenomenal and just really bold and impressive move by Mark Daigneault that really paid off. Playing Isaiah Joe there and Cason Wallace, just kind of to read off their minutes in comparison. I won't read everybody's minutes, but Isaiah Joe had 26 minutes. Cason Wallace had 28. Kenny Hustle had 22. And Giddey only had 22. Dort only had 26 for comparison. Like that is big time coaching there from Mark Daigneault trying to win a basketball game here in late November.
Before Thanksgiving. He's texting me right now, so I have to give him a shout out. Mark Daigneault. Our guy Kerry Cicero is at the University of Washington versus Oregon State football game tonight because he'll be at the Thunder Portland game tomorrow night. And he started texting me and he was like, "Hey, I'm not watching. What's going on?" And I said, "Oh, bro, they're down like 18. It's just not looking great. Not their night." And then the Thunder went on the run. I was like, "Kerry, this is you, bro. This is you." And so he told me,
pull up your phone right now.
He tried to stream it and he said that the quality was horrible. He also says you need to go read the tweet while we're on the pod here. He said, don't read it out loud, but he just wants to see your reaction as you read my tweet. So Taylor, go find the tweet and read it so we can all react to your face.
Deal. Shout out Kerry. I love him.
We're burying the lead here, and I'm about to get there. Isaiah Joe is such a good player. He's not a good three-point shooter, Taylor. He's just a good basketball player.
To be clear, that's not the lead.
That's not the lead.
But yes, correct.
I just wanted to touch on Isaiah Joe.
Agree completely. And just his two-way impact. I mean, the defense he was playing is the reason that he stayed in the game there in the fourth. And then not only like to your point, Jacob, it wasn't like he was 7-7 from 3 like 2 nights ago. He was just creating his own shot, creating shots for others. Like the development of Isaiah Joe for this basketball team. I mean, he's probably starting for the majority of teams in the NBA.
Man,
I mean, it's just absolutely asinine.
They had him guarding Chris Paul and Klay Thompson tonight. Like, you find the tweet?
There you go, Kerry. I think I found the tweet.
It's a banger.
It is, yeah. Shout out Jonathan Kuminga. That's all I will say.
Shout out old Johnny boy.
I'm going to toss my guy Jacob another retweet per usual.
Hey, we're 12 and a half minutes into the pod. We've buried the lead.
Having talked about our super duper star. We only have touched on our 2 superstars, not our super duper star, Jacob.
If I don't give a shit what happens tomorrow night in Portland.
That was my thought too.
Monday, when The Athletic or NBA.com or ESPN or whoever drops their MVP rankings this far into the season, because I think they do them weekly, Shai is top 3. You cannot convince me otherwise. I don't care. I'm not listening. If you try to convince me, I'm not listening. Taylor, the man tonight had 40 points on 18 of 29 shooting after a bad start. He was like 4 of 10 in the first half.
Hey, Jacob, guess what? Something that we've been harping on this podcast still is relevant. Let me be clear. Only 2 free throw attempts. He was 2 of 2 from the line.
Rough day for the Shai is a free throw merchant crowd. Real tough day. The man went 46, 6, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
I have 7 here on my box score in terms of rebounds.
Oh, maybe
regardless,
so.
It doesn't matter.
40 and overtime comes. Shai goes back to back to back to back. And I want to be real clear on this. The third one came off some good ball movement. Shai attacked and hit like a fadeaway high arcer that just was, it looked like Kobe, if we're being honest. He comes back down on the other end, switches the screen to get on to Steph Curry, sticks with him, and blocks a Steph Curry off the dribble step back 3. Gets the ball, gets the run out, gets the layup. That's superstar shit.
That block on Curry.
That's first team all NBA shit right there.
I mean, that's to your point. That's top 3 player in the NBA shit. Like
that,
if you're blocking the best 3-point shooter and the best shot creator in the entire league, which leads to transition buckets, which is the core of this team. We've harped on this so much, and we've seen it, right? And we saw it. I should be clear, in that second half, and they finally got back to their identity, and they started creating deflections, getting stops defensively, leading to those transition buckets. But none of them were bigger than that play you described there towards the end of overtime, where Shai blocks Steph, And then that leads to a Shai easy bucket on the other end. Just incredible. Yeah, these comments are just amazing.
The chat's wild right now.
As they should be. As they should be. Keep them coming.
Man, I can't get over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander down the stretch of the fourth and into overtime. And to do it against his mentor, Chris Paul. If you saw the broadcast, as soon as the game was over, Shai hopped over the first row of seats and went and hugged Chris's son and Chris's
son, wife, and mom.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them over there. And like Chris is like pointing back there like, wait, you forgot to say hi to that person. He like went back and like, it was cool to see them dap up. You know, Chris is like a proud dad right now. He has no loyalty to Golden State. He's ready to be traded or like waived at the deadline and picked up by OKC and like a 10th man role. He's all about it.
I can't get over what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did tonight, Taylor. My God. And
I'm equally there. But
it
also
comes on the heels of arguably his worst game of the season. I don't know. You'd probably say Denver's the worst game.
I was going to say, I would say the other night, second worst.
The other night in Golden State was just not a good night for him. And for him to come out and do what he did tonight, I mean, I don't envy being like Joel for the Daily Oklahoman or being Brett Dawson with Sellout Crowd or any of these other guys that have to write a post-game game story. What the hell do you write about? You just put all this stuff in a hat and spin it around and pull something out? I mean,
But Jacob, like I know we're going back and forth there. That's kind of the point of this podcast, right? We're going to have a full organized, full group podcast tomorrow night on Sunday after the Blazers. Gosh, I can't talk the Blazers game, but I just can't get. First of all, everything you're saying about Shai and just like looking at that free throw attempts, 2 of 2 from the free throw line for Shai. He did all this, only 2 free throw attempts. That's just asinine. Like it makes me furious in a lot of ways because he's getting just hounded and yet is not getting those calls. At the same time, I see Chet with 36, 10, 5, 14 to 22 from the floor, only 2-5 from 3, the 6 to 7 from the free throw line. Like we have our other superstar. And that's not even talking about J-Dub, who is equally in that conversation, just like tonight to see Chet do what he did alongside Shai. This is everything we hoped for, and maybe even more when the Thunder got that number 2 pick on lottery night, back when the infamous video of you and I and Silva going crazy when the Thunder won that number 2 pick. Again, ecstatic.
I don't even know. Your Oklahoma City Thunder are tied for the 3rd in the Western Conference right now.
Also, again, yeah, exactly. They are now 9-4. Which continues to be their best start since 2013. Is that correct? Is that what it was?
Yeah. It's a long shot to beat that 2013-2014 record. Nick and I looked at it the other day during the post game after the first Warriors game, and that team ended up going like 14-3 or something like that. So I don't know if they're going to hit that, but
not with that attitude, Jacob.
Hey, our guy Brennan McGlasson, former student of mine. Brennan, I hope your honeymoon is going well if you're not home already.
That's awesome.
Bren. For Chet to hit that 3 at the buzzer, that man turned around and was talking to whoever would listen. I mean, you lip read, and he and J-Dub dropped enough expletives to like fund a new NWA album. Incredible.
There to your favorite go-to, Jacob, there are some literal dogs on this team.
Man, there are some dogs.
Shai's barking, Chet's barking. Cason Wallace, the quiet rookie, is barking. Like
Cason Wallace is everywhere, dude.
Yeah, maybe that's
to trust Cason down the stretch of that fourth quarter with no Dort on the court. I'm like Dr. Seuss over here. To guard Steph freaking Curry. I was thinking about that, Taylor, whenever Queso got out there. Queso just turned 20, like less than a month ago. Okay?
Was questionable heading into tonight with a sprained
shoulder.
I
am a 33-year-old man, And I remember watching Steph Curry play in the Final Four when I was in high school.
Yep.
That was before. No, it wasn't before Kaysen. I'm not that old yet. Kaysen was a child. Like, we're talking one of the greatest basketball players of all time in Steph Curry. And the Thunder are throwing a 20-year-old out there on him. That's how much trust they have. And you had sent some tweets of quotes from Mark Daignault post-game talking about Kaysen. I mean, you could convince me that Mark Daignault is his dad, how much he loves that kid.
He beams, and he does not do that. Honestly, Jacob, to make a comparison here, because it's a great day for you and I and Kamiar and Justin and Silva to all be, and honestly for Nick too, he's an OSU fan, but for us all to be OU fans and Thunder fans, it reminded me of the way that BV talked about Jackson Arnold post game tonight, and that's just kind of the way that Daignault is beaming about Kaysen Wallace, and he's been doing that all season, and that's very uncharacteristic for Daignault, who really likes to kind of suppress expectations in a very professional way, right? But to your point, I mean, he can't help but just beam when he's talking about him.
I can't help it either.
I'm going through post-game quotes right now, just in case. I haven't seen very many of them. Daignault asked if Chet's game-tying three looked how the Thunder wanted the play to look. And Daignault's response was, yeah, especially the part of it going in.
Yeah, no shit, right?
It felt like a game we weren't going to win, but there's always time on the clock until there's not. And that reminds me of something, Jacob, that it was Dub. He was interviewed by some outlet. I can't even remember now who it was. This was here about 2-3 weeks ago. But this was just like, you could tell it was just like instilled in his brain. And all these Thunder players, it felt directly from like a Pressey or a Daignault. And he was like, well, and he was asked about being the Thunder team being so young, but still being able to respond to adversity so well. He was like, well, the average like point swing in the NBA is 12 points. And like, if we can do that, we can win in any game. And like that mindset instilled in this team, I mean, that was the epitome of tonight. Again, down 18 there. What was it, in the third or the fourth? I think it was late in the third when they were down 18 and they go on that run.
Yeah, about mid-third, yeah.
Insane. Let's see what else I can pull up here. See if we missed anything post game.
I think we're probably at the end of it, Taylor. Like, I don't know if there's any other super big things we got to talk about. Like, Kenrich Williams was awesome. He scored 1 point. I thought Giddey was so fine, but Giddey played 22 minutes, which is kind of wild. Maybe just not a good matchup for him, but I thought he did some okay things tonight. Wasn't too worried.
Again, says a lot about Daignault for Dort and Giddey both to not get a ton of. They got a ton of minutes tonight, but to your point, not to get the most minutes tonight. It's really refreshing to see after we saw Lenny Waters get like, what was it, 20 minutes against Sacramento? Like Daignault starting to coach to win, especially when some of these guys like Oos and others go down to the G League with the blue. I hope we continue to see this. Also, Micic got some minutes again, but didn't see much of the floor in the second half.
Yep, which is okay. He's
like
slowly going to ramp up.
Yeah,
yep,
more rotation elements.
But for this Thunder team, I don't care that Draymond didn't play. Draymond wanted to play. He's not going out there pulling freaking WWE moves on Rudy Gobert. The Thunder just went into the house of the Warriors and won 2 straight times.
Yeah, exactly.
That's huge. That's huge. Incredible stuff. Taylor, we're recording another podcast in 24 hours, so I think maybe we head out. But if you guys have not already, make sure to go hit up Cotton Bureau. I dropped the link in the chat at COTTONBERBUR. God, I don't know how to spell. BUREAU.com. Search the Uncontested Podcast. We got a ton of awesome shirts there. Tons of great merch for you.
Oh gosh, and Jacob. The takes from the national perspective are flying.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even going to at this person, but this was just shared in our group Slack, which is the go-to. This is a tweet from a random account that I won't name. I'll add one more take tonight. I think OKC can win the title as soon as next season if they upgrade, move Giddey.
Yeah, that ain't
The
happening.
takes are a flying.
I love it. Hey, you guys, if you enjoyed tonight, come hang out tomorrow after the Portland game. We'll be live as soon as that game goes final for our weekly show. Should be a blast. The whole squad will be here. It's going to be a fun one. Have a great Sunday. Hope you enjoyed this game because damn it, I did. Oh, I did. We will
I
talk
think
to you
all
guys.
200 plus in here did as well.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
awesome. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys. The Degenerates out in full force tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a great Sunday. Enjoy that Thunder versus Portland game. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Thunder the heck up.